Okay, I found a proper size collar for the brake. It's a longer collar, so it gives me a lot more support. I found a nice lock washer for this, and with any luck, it tightens down properly. If not, I'm going to have to add more spacers, which I don't have now, but I should be able to locate something. Any washers will do. And you have to make sure that there's enough clearance for the pad. So if I do it without the spacer, see how the pad will hit, which will be fine once the brake is adjusted, but sometimes the pads lock in behind the fork and you can't get the wheel out. So all it takes is a couple millimeters of a spacer, and if this collar is too big, I'll have to find a shorter one, which I can use the one that I found earlier, and we will find out if I need to go shorter. Yeah, see, it's bottoming out right there. So what I'm going to end up doing is using the short one I have. I'll either find a shorter one for the back or cut this one down and use this one for the back piece. This one is shorter. Let's see if this one does the trick. Better, but no cigar. I'm going to have to go find a couple short ones. Back to digging around the parts bin. All right, let's see. Okay. Let's see if this tightens up properly. I ran around looking for parts and I misplaced my Allen wrench in my pockets. Just doing it by hand, it's a lot tighter. All right, let's go see where I misplaced my Allen wrench. Oh yeah, that does it. I'm sure I'll have to readjust it when the time comes. Okay. Now I have two long collars, which definitely don't work for back here. So I think I'm going to have to cut one of the other ones I found down to make it work. You have to make sure that the pads clear the frame. There's a lot more spacing on the back, so even if it sits here and hits the frame, there's still enough to get a tire in and out. But it's not a bad idea to get a washer in there, and that way you know the brake pad's going to open up far enough. And that will snug down enough. twist it back a little bit. Get it as centered as I can. I'm going to have to readjust all that. All right, that was a tiny bit of an ordeal, but I have the front and rear brake on. It will need to be adjusted, and then we'll go from there. The rear dropout has the horizontal dropout. It's not super deep. Hopefully there's enough room in there to where I can tighten up the chain. We'll see. Worst case scenario is I play around with freewheel sizes or chainring sizes till I find something that works really good with a single speed. I can always bolt one of the single-laters or any of the other type roller devices, but I never like using those. I like to get a clean chain first. I've done enough fixed gear conversions with this type of dropout where there's usually enough to get about a half a chain with. So that should be just fine. And yes, there's not a whole else I can do until some more parts come in. I keep thinking I should cut this thing off now just because I want to do it, but I'm going to hold off and wait until parts come in. Trying to make an end and I guess a cap for the shifter boss. I am going to attempt to drill through the middle here, at least as close as I can. And I'll change the drill bit to something a little bit bigger. Just getting an eyeball to see if I need to go deeper. That should be enough. Now I should measure the boss itself. And I'm just going to do an eyeball like this with my fingernail. Add a millimeter, and then I could sand it down as needed. So I'm going to add quite a bit, that way I can sand it down. Yes, I know this is the wrong type of saw, but it's the saw I have near me. I have a whole workbench. Get my pencil. Right now, the hole is too small. I need to make it about a millimeter longer. this will give me a closer gonna have to go light here. I don't have a lot to clamp onto. Hey, look at that. Maybe that'll help. Just a little bit more. I guess I could sand the rest. All right. Make sure to put that at the bottom. Try to square it up. On the edges a little bit. Right, now I need to let's see what we got over here. Oh, that's just about perfect. Now I have to make the hole bigger so it slides over, because I don't have a drill bit big enough. Zoom in a little bit. Zoom in a lot of bit. Let's see what we got. I'll take my little piece of sandpaper here, and we will sand away some of this rust. Oh, that ain't nice. There we go. Got that little notch. We'll hide that down at the bottom. Oh, look at that. All right. Nice. I got these nice little plastic push pins. And we will just press that in. With any luck, I don't break anything. Tight, tight. Now what I'll do is, I've got a little oil varnish. I'll just put on a piece of clean rag. And what the oil varnish will do is might have to poke a hole in it, which is okay. It's an old bottle. There we go. And I am just going to wipe it around this wood piece. I should have put it on the inside too. But if this thing gets rotten out and I should get a rubber mallet to pop these things in better. But the block of wood is what I have handy. There we go. Trying to twist the cap on this side because the cap is a little off center on this side. That ain't working. It is what it is. Instead of having rusty shifter studs, now I have wooden dowel covers. And I guess it doesn't look, I guess it looks better than it did before. But it's a way to cover it. And it's a way to cover it with things that I had. I didn't have any nice, I don't know what you call them, shifter stud covers. They're cable stops on a road bike. The cable ends go into it. I would have just pulled the shifter part out, but I don't have any. But at least this looks good for now. I can always die grind the studs off if I start to hate them. The oil varnish, I can always, I can always paint over it, sand it, and repaint over those. But they came out pretty good, and I think it's an improvement for now.